Hey there. Welcome to the first lecture of Calculus 1. My name is Richard, and in this first lecture, I want to spend some time kind of motivating the subject of calculus, go into some specific examples of capabilities that calculus enables, things that we can do in algebra, and then kind of contrast that with the capabilities that calculus allows for. So I want to spend some time on that. And then after that, I want to spend some time kind of going through, just giving some detail about where the course is going and what people who are intent on following the course should expect. So let's get started first with the preview of calculus, and then we'll jump into a discussion about what to expect. So I'm just going to call this section 1.1, and I'm going to call it a preview of calculus. Okay. So there are countless applications of calculus, and really its importance really cannot be overstated. So, I mean, literally, like, no matter what I said, there's no way I could overstate the importance of calculus to the rest of mathematics and science in general. What I want to do is just go through a couple of things, a couple of examples of capabilities that calculus enables. And so just a few. There's, as I say, there's countless examples, but let's talk about just a few of them, just to help motivate kind of what we might expect from calculus 1. So the first one I want to talk about is, well, let's start by saying without calculus. Okay, so without calculus, we can talk about the value of a function f of x when x is equal to c, right? That's algebra, right? So we can talk about the value of a function f whenever x is c. So we can talk about f of c. Now with calculus, we're going to get into this new idea tomorrow, next video actually, and we'll be able to talk about the value of f of x when x approaches c. Right. So this is going to be the idea of a limit, and this so visualize it like this, right? Say I've got a xy coordinate system and I've got some arbitrary curve here, and let's say that the function is undefined at a particular value here, x equals c. Now without calculus, I can't tell you what f of c is, right? It doesn't exist, right? If the function isn't defined at x equals c, then clearly I can't talk about what f of c is. With calculus, we'll be able to talk about the limit of f of x as x approaches c. Okay. So this is going to be the limit concept. And that'll actually be the first thing we jump into with calculus. It gives us a whole new way of thinking about functions, a whole new way of thinking about what happens to functions as we approach values on the x-axis, what happens to the value of the function, and it enables obviously a lot of capabilities. And really, most of calculus is underpinned by limits. So we'll get into that. That'll actually be the topic of our next couple of lecture videos. So another example, with and without calculus example. So without calculus, we can talk about the slope of a line. Now, with calculus, we can talk about the slope of a curve. Okay, so let's just make this a little more concrete here. So when I say line, I mean like a straight line, right? And we all know exactly how to identify the slope of a line. It's equal to the change in y divided by the change in x, right? And if I know those two values, which I could obviously do in this example, I can derive the slope of a line, of a straight line. And the slope of a line is constant, right, because it's straight. Now, what if instead I want to talk about a curved line like that, you know, a function that isn't just a linear function, right? Something that has curvature like this. So what if I want to know specifically the slope of this curve at this exact point? Right? How would I do that? Well, that's a subject that is handled early on in calculus. And so we'll be able to identify tangent lines, and using the same similar kind of machinery as over here, we'll be able to figure out what the slope of a curve is. And then we'll actually go on to even greater heights. We'll be able to identify entire functions that describe the slope of the curve of a line. So very powerful. Another example. Let's see here. So without calculus, and again, I'm skipping over lots and lots of great examples, but just in the interest of time, without calculus, we can talk about the area of a rectangle. Okay, so for example, simple rectangle. All right, we all know how to calculate the area of a rectangle, a square, a handful of other quadrilaterals. We can talk about special figures. We can obviously identify the area of circles and other kinds of polygons. But just a general curve eludes us, right? But with calculus, this kind of gets busted wide open. So we can talk about the area under a curve. Right, so just in a general sense, like you can do things like this. Right, let's say I've got some function, right, in the xy plane here, and I'm interested in the area under that function between two values of x. Right, this would be x equals a and x equals b. Okay, for example. So without calculus, we're sort of limited to rectilinear figures or special trapezoids or special polygons or circles or something, or triangles. But with calculus, the concept of area gets greatly generalized, and we can do much more interesting things. Much more interesting things. Okay. So as I said, there's lots and lots of examples. These are a few of the high points of calculus. And so specifically here, this capability is handled via the concept of a limit. This capability here is handled via the concept of differentiation. Okay, so differentiation and derivatives. Right, you might have heard these terms. And down here, this capability is enabled by integration, or you may have heard the term integrals. Okay, so those are really the three big topics of calculus: limits, derivatives, and integrals. And then obviously a smattering of other things as well, but those are kind of the biggest names in calculus. And so here are some examples of things that those capabilities enable us to do. Okay, so for people who are taking this class, who are wondering a little bit about like what to expect, this is going to be a full semester of calculus. Right, equal to basically calculus 1. Okay, and so what you should the way you should think about this is that this is literally video lectures that I use when teaching this material to college students, and there's no Calculus 1 topic that is omitted, right? We cover everything that you would encounter in a Calculus 1 course. In a typical Calculus 1 course is dealt with in this class. So it's totally complete. This isn't abbreviated. This isn't like business calculus or something. This is full-blown Calculus 1 for mathematicians and scientists. And so what are we going to be tackling in Calculus 1? What's the typical subject matter for Calculus 1? You can kind of break it down into essentially 3 parts. So the first part is going to be, as I said earlier, just limits. All right, what is a limit? What is a limit? That's a big question, right? So what is this new way of thinking about functions that we call limits? And then a lot of time spent on evaluating limits, like for given functions. How do I think about this? How do I evaluate? How do I figure out what the limit is? That kind of stuff. We spend a little bit of time talking through formal definitions of a limit, epsilon delta definition of a limit, and a few examples of proofs. Proofs are not the focus of Calculus 1. When you get through calculus, you take a course called Real Analysis, where proving theorems from calculus is the focus. This is more about understanding the concepts and getting into some of the applications. So we'll start with limits, and I would guess we'll have at least 4, maybe 5 full lectures on limits. Maybe roughly a third of the class. And after that, part 2 of Calculus 1 would be derivatives and differentiation. Okay, so this is going to be an application of the limit idea, and we will get into that. So we'll talk about what a derivative is, obviously, define it, derive a bunch of derivatives, and kind of doing it the hard way of deriving derivatives, identifying derivatives, and just basic differentiation. What does it mean? What is it doing? What are we doing when we're differentiating a function? And then after we kind of do all the hard stuff, we'll jump into there are fast ways to calculate derivatives, quick ways to complete differentiation, and we'll spend a fair amount of time on that. So things like product rules, quotient rules, chain rules. These are names of these are things that you'll come to understand about midway through the course. We'll talk about a concept called implicit differentiation. We'll get into derivatives of inverse functions, and that'll be the main thrust of differentiation and derivatives. So we'll spend about a third of the class there as well. And this is, again, derivatives, differentiation. What are they? Some practice with it as well. And then part 3, the third part and final part of the course, is going to be applications of derivatives, of which there are many, many derivatives. So we'll talk about extrema on an interval. We'll talk about something called the first and second derivative tests. We'll get into curve sketching. And then we'll spend a fair amount of time talking about related rates problems. These are more complex than you've probably ever seen, physics type problems that derivatives are central to. And then we'll get into some pretty cool optimization problems as well. So that's the basic layout of the course. And I'm expecting somewhere roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Roughly about 20 lectures or so, and I would say the average length of the lectures would be 90 minutes. So about somewhere around 30 hours worth of lectures should should get us through the material of Calculus 1. Now, keep in mind, again, this is a full-length course, but a lot of time that is spent in a classroom setting is spent on assigning things and answering questions. So this is just 30 hours of pure lecture on the subject of calculus. So I think with that, I will end this first lecture video, and we will see you next time when we get into an introduction to limits. See you then.